Hi, my name is Sue Jeffers. Welcome to our continuing series on Meet the Candidates. Never before have we had an election that's as important as the one that's coming to us this November. And it has been my pleasure to bring to you so many great candidates, to hear what they have on their mind, to hear the changes that they want to make, the direction that they want to lead the state of Minnesota. And today we are so lucky, Wes Whitby, so happy to have you.
Well, hello, Sue. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, and okay, you're running in 62A. Where is 62A?
62A is in South Minneapolis. If you went from approximately the line of Franklin Avenue to approximately 46th Street, from the Mississippi River, which would be the River Road, all the way over to approximately Cedar Avenue.
Excellent. And you're running against a career politician. You're running against a guy who's been there forever.
Yes, the incumbent, and I want to reiterate incumbent because he is the definition of a career politician, has been in since about 2000, or exactly 2000, and he's not out for the citizens of his district. I believe he's only out for the special interest money to get him reelected. Because in my door knockings, when I've been out door knocking and talking to the citizens and friends in my district, they've never seen him knock on their door once, and I've knocked on approximately 4,000 doors at this point. And so I just think that the best way to be an effective legislator is to meet citizens face to face and door to door and find out what their concerns are with the legislature. So
I think a lot of the people in Minneapolis and in St. Paul understand that, you know what, the status quo isn't working anymore. It's broken. We've got to have something different. So when you're out door knocking, what do the people want to talk to you about? What are the issues that are on their mind?
Well, jobs and the out-of-control spending that's been going on. As you know, last biennium it was approximately $1.8 billion as a bonding bill that we had and a deficit.
Which seems like nothing now.
Well, maybe to some people. To me, that's a considerable amount of money. And
Real
I think
money.
It's irrational and irresponsible to keep doing this and sending our state into this spiraling deficit. So we know that next biennium it's likely to be closer to $6 billion
or more.
Well, we don't know the exact number, but we know that that is a lot of money.
Yes.
And so we need to deal with that. And I believe one of the ways to deal with that is to reprioritize our spending. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. And so I think my opponent's answer would be to raise taxes on the citizens of this state. That's not my answer. I believe we need to lower taxes because if an individual has more money in their pocket, they're going to be out in the community spending it. And so I think we could take a hard look at what we're considering as in taxation of our citizens.
Was the spending, the government spending, would that be one of the #1 issues that made you decide you wanted to run for office?
Yes, actually, yes, that's right, Sue. It is one of the #1 issues, and I think that we need to slow it down at the very minimum.
Okay, here's a trick question for you.
Yes.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
If the state of Minnesota brings in $33 billion in revenue every biennium, how much money should the state of Minnesota be allowed to spend every biennium?
Well, certainly not more than $33 billion.
Excellent. I have been just harping on, every time I meet a new candidate, I ask them, can you read a spreadsheet? Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea how much money is coming into the state, how much money you can spend, and how we ended up getting into the boat that we're in now with these giant deficits?
Absolutely. So I would just say that many people that I talk to and myself, I would say when we balance our checkbook, if we get a weekly check, maybe it's $300, maybe it's $1,200, whatever it is, we're not going out spending $1,400 when we get a $1,200 check. People who do that typically are running on credit, and I believe that's what our state's been trying to do with these bonding bills. So
That's exactly what our state did. Think of last legislative session. We opened the session. We already knew we were in the hole. We knew we didn't have enough money to spend all the money that they wanted to spend, and they started with $1 billion bonding bill.
Yes.
That's irresponsible.
It is. It is very irresponsible.
So do you have, and I do want to spend some more time talking about spending and taxes and the assorted different issues, but after you win in November and you're sworn in January, do you have a couple key things that you'd like to see done immediately over there?
Well, number one, as we were talking about the spending, I'd like to see a percentage set that we can only spend X number of dollars, whatever that percent is. We can discuss that. That's open to discussion, because I'm not sure what that should be without discussing it, but we would like to meet and figure out what that rate is and make it so the state as a whole cannot spend more than a certain percentage of what we take in from the previous year.
Are you talking about a cap?
Yeah, we could call it a cap.
Okay.
Yes.
and I think it's a great idea. For many years, we've had people talk about caps, taxpayer bill of rights. I mean, we have 50 different little experiments in all 50 states, and many of them do different things to rein in their spending at their state level. And maybe we're to the point where Minnesota really needs to take a look at that.
Well, I think we are. I definitely think we are. We get our revenue from the taxpayers, the citizens, you and I, and everyone else that's a citizen. But again, we're looking at the spending. It's gone amok, so let's put a cap on it.
So many people, so many politicians have forgotten how hard we taxpayers have to work to pay our taxes. And people aren't adverse to paying taxes. People understand that there have to be some taxes being paid. We want a criminal justice system, we want public safety, we want roads and bridges and education. There's a need for government. Nobody's coming in to say abolish all taxes. Where do you think our priorities should be, our spending priorities?
Well, public safety is number one. We have to keep the police and fire and different public safety agencies running, if you will. And like larger cities should get a little larger allocation of funds because they have a bigger society or individuals that live in it. So that would be number one, public safety. And then we have to invest in education because as Whitney Houston said, the children are our future. They are the future leaders. So if we're not investing and teaching them the right things, then we are going to truly be in a far worse scenario than what we are in right now.
Let's jump into education.
Okay.
Right now, K through 12, 40% of our budget. Higher ed, another 10%. They're looking for a boatload of money next year for pre-K. It's over 50% of our budget.
That's a lot of money.
How much more should we give them?
I'm not sure that that's the answer. Giving more is never the answer. Again, we have to reprioritize our spending. Now, in my door knocking, I have a lot of teachers that live in my district. And in talking to them, I asked them specifically about this. And yes, they say that their caseload that they have of the amount of children for them to give one-on-one care is far too large for the amount of teachers. So in talking to them, I believe the answer is that according to the teachers, we have too many administrators that make 3 times as much as teachers. We specifically need to limit the amount of administrators so that we can hire more quality teachers. And in that respect, effectively educate our children.
Very good. I think a lot of the schools, a lot of the parents feel the schools have gotten away from core issues. Instead of reading, writing, and arithmetic, it's now everything from reading, writing, arithmetic, global warming, sex education, social justice, any number of things. Do you think the curriculum, do you think we need to change the curriculum maybe? Absolutely.
Social justice, if you want to know about social justice, I think that we have social justice going on right now. There's certain elements out in society that want to enforce social justice. how about if we just follow the Constitution? That would be very simply stated. It's a very simple document, and I think it's highly rated for a very good reason, Sue.
For a very good reason.
Yes.
How about if we got our schools back to teaching about the Constitution?
That would be good. I think that's where we need to go.
I just want to deviate from the issues for 1 second. You talked about being outdoor knocking and what the teachers are saying.
Yes.
What else are you hearing out there?
Well, as far as jobs go, when we talk about jobs, people are concerned, they're genuinely concerned about the economy, of course. And in talking to people, when we talk about jobs, I believe, from what I've been hearing, we have a consensus that education and jobs go hand in hand. Now, many people know that we've been told for a long time, go to college. Go to college. If you want a good job, go to college. Well, people who are going to college now aren't necessarily getting those jobs because the jobs maybe are not where we thought they were. So I think that we need to have some sort of a curriculum showing students that aren't going to college, because college is not for everyone.
Too many people don't understand that college is not for everybody.
It's not. So we need to have some sort of a curriculum to teach the young people, give them an option, how to start a small business, for instance, with supply and demand principles and basic accounting principles. I believe that a student who has the option of being self-employed will opt for that first before they would opt for a $5 burger flipping job if they could find a burger flipping job at this juncture in time. So what I'm really trying to say is we need to be creative with our employment. And those small businesses that I'm referring to, I think that those do create jobs, long-lasting jobs, not these shovel-ready jobs that that people have been talking about.
Shovel-ready jobs have been very popular lately to talk about those, and what we're seeing is a lot of roads to nowhere and a lot of roads that didn't need to be addressed being funded rather than some of our major roads that do have issues being unfunded. So
absolutely,
those shovel-ready, that one bothers me like crazy. When you're out on the campaign trail, are people receptive to your campaign?
They are, and you know, I'm a conservative, as you know. Believe it or not,
I only interview conservatives.
Well, absolutely. So I just want to say that my district is heavily DFL. But in my door knocking, I think that they are truly pleased to see at their door, well, for one, someone who actually wants to know what they think, a candidate knocking at the door asking, what do you think should be happening at the legislature? But also, there's one thing that I know that they're tired of, and that's the career politicians who don't care what they want. So that's where we can draw a line and say, I'm definitely over here, and my opponent's over here. I care about what the people of my district. So in that respect, that's one of the things I've been hearing.
I've been hearing over and over from people that they are just so receptive towards the limited government, the personal responsibility, the ideas that we're hearing from the right side of the aisle on jobs and the economy and cutting spending. And I'm just really excited for November.
I am too, Sue.